There is a gland sitting at the base of your throat right now, smaller than your fist, lighter than a golf ball, and it is quietly running every system in your body. Your heartbeat, your body temperature, your digestion, your memory, your mood, your muscle strength, your skin, your hair, all of it, every single biological process happening inside you at this exact moment is running at the speed that this one gland sets. It is called the thyroid. And here is the part that should stop you cold. When this gland begins to fail, it does not announce itself. There is no sharp pain, no sudden collapse, no dramatic warning that something is wrong. It steals from you slowly. It takes your energy first, then your sharpness, then your mood. Then your body begins to change in ways you cannot explain. Weight that appears without reason, a face that looks different in the mirror, a voice that sounds lower than it used to, a heart that beats slower than it should. And at every appointment, every single one, the doctor looks at you and says the same thing. This is just aging. But what if it is not aging? What if there is one hormone quietly missing from your body that is responsible for all of it simultaneously? And what if identifying that hormone required nothing more than a single, inexpensive blood test that most physicians never order unless you specifically ask for it? Today I am going to give you 3 signs. Not 10, not 9, 3 explained in full, with the exact biology of why each one happens inside your body. Because understanding why is what turns information into action. Pay attention to all 3, because by the time this video ends, you will know something that most people spend years, sometimes decades, finding out the hard way. Sign number 3, the exhaustion that greets you every morning. This is where almost every thyroid patient's story begins. And it is the sign that gets dismissed more consistently than any other. Not ordinary tiredness. Not the kind that comes from a late night or a long week. This is a heaviness that is present from the moment you open your eyes. A background exhaustion that does not lift after 8 hours of sleep. That does not respond to rest. That does not improve no matter how early you go to bed or how long you stay there. And here is the exact reason why. Inside every cell of your body, every heart cell, every brain cell, every muscle cell, there are tiny structures called mitochondria. Their one job is to take the oxygen you breathe and the nutrients from your food and convert them into energy. The actual fuel your body runs on at a cellular level. That conversion process, called oxidative phosphorylation, requires thyroid hormone to function properly. Thyroid hormone is not optional for this process. It is the activating signal. Without it, the mitochondrial machinery slows. Not in one organ, not in one system. Across every single cell in your entire body, simultaneously. Your brain is running on reduced fuel. Your heart is running on reduced fuel. Your muscles, your digestive system, your immune system, all of them operating below capacity because the cellular engines that power them have been quietly starved of the hormone they need to run. And this is precisely why this fatigue does not respond to the obvious solutions. Iron supplements do not fix it because the cause is not anemia. Better sleep does not fix it because the cause is not behavioral. Dietary changes, more water, earlier bedtimes, none of it touches the underlying problem, because the underlying problem is hormonal. The physician who does not test the thyroid will suggest all of the above, and the patient will follow that advice faithfully, for months, sometimes for years, and feel no better, because the actual cause has never been identified. If you have been persistently exhausted for months, if that exhaustion is present every single morning regardless of how much you slept, and if blood work has not explained it, you have one question to ask at your next appointment. Has my TSH been checked? And what was the number? Sign number 2, the outer eyebrow that quietly disappeared. This sign requires no blood test, no specialist, no equipment of any kind. It can be checked in a mirror in 60 seconds, and it is one of the most diagnostically specific physical findings of thyroid hormone deficiency that exists. Specific enough that physicians are trained to look for it during clinical examination, and specific enough to be included in formal scoring systems used to calculate the probability of hypothyroidism before laboratory results are even available. Here is what to look for. A healthy eyebrow extends from the inner corner above the nose all the way to the outer corner near the temple. In a person with normal thyroid function, hair is present along the full length of that brow, reasonably uniform in density from one end to the other. In hypothyroidism, the outer third of the eyebrow, the portion from roughly the midpoint of the pupil outward toward the temple, progressively thins and eventually disappears. The inner 2/3 remain. The outer third goes. This finding has a clinical name, the Hertog sign, and here is the biology of exactly why it happens. Thyroid hormone is required to keep hair follicles in their active growth phase. When thyroid levels fall, follicles progressively shift into a dormant resting phase and stop producing hair. The fine, delicate hairs of the lateral eyebrow, the outer third, have the shortest natural growth cycle of any hair on the body. They have the lowest resistance to hormonal withdrawal. They are the first to go dormant, which is why the outer eyebrow disappears before scalp hair thins significantly, which is why the inner eyebrow remains while the outer vanishes. The pattern is not random, it is a direct biological consequence of which follicles are most sensitive to the withdrawal of thyroid hormone. This is different from the uniform thinning that comes with normal aging, which affects the entire eyebrow roughly equally across its full length. The Hertog sign is specifically the loss of the outer portion while the inner portion remains relatively intact. That selective pattern, inner preserved, outer gone, is what makes it clinically meaningful. Check it right now if you would like. Stand in front of a mirror in natural light. Look at both eyebrows. Follow the line of hair from the inner corner all the way to the outer edge near the temple. Does the hair extend fully to the outer corner? Is it present and visible along the entire length? Or does it become thin, patchy, or entirely absent in the outer portion, while the inner portion near the nose remains reasonably full? If that outer third is gone and you have not had a TSH measured in the past 2 years, that single observation in a physician's office is clinically sufficient reason to request one. Sign number 1, the depression that no antidepressant fully touches. This is the sign that causes the most damage when it is missed, not because it is the most painful, though it often is, but because the consequences of missing it lead patients into years of treatment for a condition they do not actually have, while the actual condition continues untreated beneath the surface. When thyroid hormone falls below the level the brain requires, it does not only slow physical processes, it directly disrupts the chemistry of the brain itself. Thyroid hormone influences the production, the release, and the sensitivity of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that govern mood, motivation, emotional stability, and cognitive speed. When thyroid hormone is insufficient, serotonin signaling is impaired, dopamine function is disrupted. The speed at which the brain processes information, retrieves memories, and generates language, all of it slows in ways that are measurable and real. The result is a depression that arrives without a clear life event to explain it, a low mood that simply appears, an emotional flatness that does not lift, a loss of interest in things that previously mattered, a cognitive heaviness where thinking feels effortful, where words come slowly, where following a conversation requires more concentration than it ever used to. A patient with this presentation goes to their physician. The physician diagnoses depression. An antidepressant is prescribed. The dose is adjusted. A second medication is added when the first is insufficient. Months pass. The patient is compliant with treatment. And yet the depression never fully resolves, because the brain chemistry being targeted by the antidepressant is being disrupted at a deeper hormonal level that the antidepressant cannot reach. Here is the clinical distinction that changes everything. Primary depression, the kind caused by brain chemistry imbalance without a hormonal driver, almost never produces significant physical changes alongside the mood symptoms. Hypothyroid-driven depression almost always does, because the same hormonal deficiency disrupting the brain is simultaneously slowing the skin, the hair, the digestion, the heart rate, and the body's metabolism. So a patient whose depression arrived alongside unexplained fatigue, dry coarse skin, thinning outer eyebrows, constipation that does not respond to fiber, or unexpected weight gain, that combination is not a coincidence. That is a hormonal picture, and it points to one place. If antidepressant treatment has been appropriate in dose and duration and has not produced the expected response, thyroid function testing is not optional at that point. It is the next necessary step. 3 signs, 1 cause, 1 test. The TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is a single blood draw. It is inexpensive. It can be added to any existing blood panel at any routine appointment without a separate visit. A normal result falls between approximately 0.5 and 4.5 milli-international units per liter. A number above that range means one thing: the pituitary gland is working overtime, sending urgent signals to a thyroid that is not producing enough hormone. And when that deficiency is identified and corrected, the fatigue lifts, the depression responds, the eyebrows return, the voice recovers, the cognition clears. Not managed, reversed. If you recognized yourself in any of these 3 signs, ask one question at your next appointment: can we check my TSH today? That question costs nothing. That answer changes everything.